I'm from the American Airlines points so I paid for from LA to I had West Mexico to
Okay.
except for smiles.
And I've got all.
You're so lucky.
In my folder.
Thanks for liking my house. My work for us.
Is it not in you? People need to see Rachel and Kenzie.
He's out there. Oh, we're out here. Or like, first one hot like
I got your stuff in your car.
That's and then
So I'm gonna have
it's not bad, but it's like it's just whenever we live in Columbia. I just want those.
Okay, you do have a little piece of paper in front of you, so make sure you put your name on it, and then the little monkeys that are walking around will collect them. Whose daughter is that?
She goes.
I know.
Mommy, we have some bagel.
I got some.
Oh, Mr. Odell will grab it.
It's a nice thing to follow.
You got it?
Some people sleep in.
I know.
I get up all the time.
I'm like, we'll start and just let people. Chrissy? You would think we would start these things like noon.
I was thinking that this morning. It's 10 o'clock.
I checked the invite last night. I was like,
On the dot, as you can tell. Okay. Here you go, Coach.
that's right there. I will eat your heart.
Well, technically, I went to bed at midnight. Just pick Friday. I woke up Sunday.
All right. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. I'm excited to dig into you guys and let our other leaders pour into you and give you some training tips. We're going to start with an icebreaker. There is an agenda in the very front of your notebook if you want to use that to take back in if you need to. But Christy's going to start with our icebreaker, and then we're going to do a giveaway, and then we're going to dig in. So,
okay, so for this game, you'll need your pen and open your notebook because you'll need a piece of paper. What you're going to do is I'm going to read a couple little paragraphs. Every time you hear a TV name, a movie name, a show, it could be like an old show from TV, a 30-minute show. It's kind of funny. It's kind of, but it's fun. And at the end, we'll see who has the most of those correct. You don't have to write down the name of them. Just make a mark. We just want a total number at the end. I'm only going to read it once.
this is where it pays to watch TV. You're welcome.
Some of you may not get some of them because you may not be old enough.
We might be showing our age.
I know.
Janelle's going to win.
Okay, so here we go. I was 30-something, living through the wonder years with my family and my husband, taking one day at a time. We were doing okay, but the facts of life were not born with silver spoons in our mouths. Our savings were in jeopardy, and we didn't want to be in debt for the rest of the days of our lives. I finally told my husband, it's time to get out of this old house, or at least make some home improvements. I don't want to start a family feud, but I am young and restless. I want to contribute to the family finances. It's time for me to get smart. Don't be a critic. I'm in search of America's most wanted job. Family matters to me. I don't want to miss out on the prime time with my kids by hiring a nanny. Beachbody offers a great opportunity. The price is right, only a small investment. Part-time work with full-time pay. And who's the boss? I am. But could I get in front of a full house of perfect strangers for 60 minutes and tell them how to take home their bold and beautiful merchandise and become designing women? Sure I can, and they will all be there to coach me if I need a guiding light. Of course, I have experienced some growing pains, but I am able to spread my wings and watch my business bloom. Oh, watch my business blossom, sorry. Beachbody has made me feel I am part of a team. I have good times at home with all my children. My family had extra income and we've even added picket fences. My husband cheers when my monthly paycheck arrives. Soon I'll fly away to paradise, a dream vacation for which Beachbody helped me pay. My husband and I will be like honeymooners again, sharing happy days in another world. Beachbody may not be for everyone, as they say, different strokes for different folks. But if you're married with children and have strong family ties, I highly recommend Beachbody to you. So everybody add up how many you got.
45.
Nope.
31. I'm 37.
42.
35.
You're close. Yeah, Kinsey, you can't play. You have it in your folder.
Oh, no, she didn't even know.
Story of my life, it's always there.
Anybody else have that question for me? The answer's 44.
Oh.
I know, I was like, yeah, there's 44. I know. 30-something, the Wonder Years, family, one day at a time, the facts of life, silver spoons, Jeopardy, Days of Our Lives, This Old House, Home Improvements, Family Feud, The Young and the Restless, Get Smart, Critic, Search of America's Most Wanted, Family Matters, Prime Time, The Nanny, Price is Right, Who's the Boss, Full House, Perfect Strangers, 60 Minutes, Bold and the Beautiful, Designing Women, Coach, Guiding Light, Growing Pains, Wings, Blossom, A-Team, Good Times, All My Children, Picket Fences, Cheers, I'll Fly Away, Paradise, Honeymooners, Happy Days, Another World, Different Strokes, Married with Children, and Family Ties.
Hey, good job.
So who had the closest number?
I have 43.
I had 42.
I had
45. 45.
Oh.
She got an extra
few song names also, and
Oh.
so I heard a song name.
Bummer.
Nice for you.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I can get it.
There's like chocolate or something flying around it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Okay, am I doing, okay. I know, I'm like, show everybody what you got.
Awesome. With that thing, it broke the post and the bag.
Yeah.
It's a
Caliber.
It's a round caliber.
Not a lot of people do that, and you should. Just saying. Yeah, I'm gonna use that later. I'm gonna do that. It's the best to do her body.
Right after lunch.
Yeah. Right after lunch. So we are streaming live, so just in case you guys want to go back later and watch this, you can on our YouTube channel, and make sure you subscribe, because right now we are youtube.com/xqy4928abcdexg, because I can't name our YouTube channel until we get like 500 subscribers. So tell your friends. Okay. We have an agenda. Again, we're gonna hear from like 6 of us. They're all diamonds on our team. Everybody that you're hearing from knows the business and is a consistent Success Club earner and just knows their stuff. So I'm excited for you guys to listen to them and hear what they have to say. And they are going to open up by sharing a little bit about before Beachbody and why they joined and what's happened since they've joined. And then we are going to do like a small Q&A after each person speaks. That way you have a chance to ask them questions and pick their brain a little bit. So, okay. Any questions before we start? Okay. First, Danielle Odell.
Pick me
My
first.
mother-in-law.
It's nice to see you guys. Need to see you.
You don't have to use the podium
No,
either.
I don't want to use the podium.
Yeah.
I will start out telling my story. Some of you have maybe heard it, some haven't. But I love all of our stories. They're all some are real meaningful to others, and some are just like, yeah, that's okay. But everyone has their story, so it's your story, so stick to it because your story is going to mean something to somebody else. It always is. I just all my life had never really worked out. Never wanted to. I was just kind of lazy about it. My husband, we've been married 34 years. He's always worked out all of his life, and I would just go downstairs and sit and talk to him while I worked out. Just visit, maybe eat, something like that. And just it never interested me. And then through the years, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer and died from it, and my great-grandma died from breast cancer. So I decided, I better be proactive and start getting my breast checked. So I was seen an oncologist at KU for 5 years to have my breast checked, and everything was always really good. And in those 5 years, I was really overweight, out of shape, didn't eat right, 44 pounds, heavier than what I am now. And she did biopsy every year on my breast, and a year and a half ago, it came back, not cancer, but the test results said, if you don't do something different, you're going to have cancer probably within a year. So that freaked me out. And she said, you have some choices to make. And I said, well, what are my choices? And she says, you can do nothing. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that because I want to be proactive. You can have your breast removed. And I did not want to do that. And at that time, I didn't know why I didn't want to do that, but I was adamant that I didn't want to have my breast removed. So, or she said, you could go on a drug trial and try that. And so I said, okay, let's do the drug trial. And I said, what can I get from that? And she said, there's some really heavy side effects with the drug trial. Nausea and vomiting and hair loss and swollen joints and headaches and bone loss and all that stuff. And I said, well, what can I do to prevent all those side effects? And she said, you've got to get healthy, girl. She said, you've got to exercise. You got to lose 10 inches off your waist. You've got to drink no pop, no more. That's like drinking antifreeze. No artificial sweeteners at all. Those are poison. And you've got to start eating healthy. And I remember I can still remember where I was sitting in the office, and I remember the look on her face, and I remember just feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. That's really tough. 10 inches off your waist, that's a lot. So I knew Raina had been researching Beachbody. The very next day, they were at my house. I remember right where Raina was sitting on the counter, and she said,
On a chair on the counter.
yeah, on the chair. She said, hey, I'm going to sign up for Beachbody. And I just looked at her and I said, oh my gosh, Raina, there's no coincidence. I said, this is what the doctor told me yesterday. I said, you have to help me. I said, I can't do this alone. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. You just have to help me do this. And she said, okay, and will you sign me up right there? Right there. Brett and I were her first customers. And so she put me in her first challenge. Well, I think it was your very first challenge group. Yeah, your first challenge group. And it was Slim and Six. And I followed the guide and I started doing it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. It was so hard. I didn't think I could do it. She kept cheering me on, So I kept doing the programs. Within a year, I lost 30 pounds and 28 inches within 1 year. Fantastic, yeah. I did not have one side effect on the pill, not one. Just a little bit of hair loss, but not much. And when I went back and had my final breast biopsies at the end of the year, my breast cancer rate went from 74 dropped to 4%. So yeah, my oncologist said that she was just giddy. She was hugging me and she said, Danelle, she said, you don't know what you've done for yourself. You've changed your whole life just by eating healthy and getting rid of all the toxic foods, no fast foods, and exercising. And I lost 10 inches off my waist, 10 inches. So, and it's been a year and a half now, and I'm at about 44 pounds weight loss. So I don't know if I need to lose any more, but I just want to tighten up. So I want Raina's abs. So,
Not right now.
I don't know if a 52-year-old woman can get those abs, but I'm going to work real hard at it. So anyway, that's my story. So I encourage you all to hang on to your stories and always share them with people because they're going to relate to somebody. Your stories are. Raina asked me if I would help do some training here, and I'm like, okay, well, all right. What do you think your strengths are? She said, and I said, well, I love building relationships with people. I love that. That's so that's what I'm going to talk about today. I feel like building relationships with people within this business is probably going to be the most important thing you'll do in my book with these people, because if you don't have a relationship built with them, you're not going to be able to communicate what you need to, and they're not going to be able to hear what they need to hear. So, and I think it'll be one of the best things you'll do is building relationships. It's funny, I love people, I love my friends, I love people so much, and I think if I weren't around people, I would wither up and die. So my husband says that I can carry a conversation on with a tree. So I don't know if that's a compliment. I haven't figured that one out yet. He says that about you too, Brett. He's just never said it to your face.
I've done it a couple times.
Yeah. So anyway, I realized when I was thinking about this, what I do to build relationships is there's two different points. So I realized there was always a pattern here with me. And it's engaging people and then validating them. So first of all, I'm just going to start off with the definition of validation. This, the dictionary says to make valid, produce the desired result, make sound, or well-founded. So I just want to make sure that you all know that you have to validate every single person that you touch in this business. You have to validate them and make them feel important and make them feel like that they mean something to somebody. Have you heard the saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care? And that's true. If you just try to just start spieling off all the beach body stuff, they're not going to engage with you at all, and they're not going to feel validated. And then the next step is I want to give you the definition of engage, and that's to occupy the attention or effort, to attract or please. And in the Beachbody business, we have to engage everyone. We have to connect with our customers, with text or phone call or a private message. And my calls, you all run yours probably through Facebook messages the most, but I'm old school, and the market that I attract, they kind of like to talk on the phone. They're not too much on all the technology, so I like to talk on the phone. So I feel it's easier for me, but as Raina says, you can do however you want to, you know. But I always want to connect with them on the very first contact. And sometimes they'll say, so hey, I see what you've been doing. Tell me a little bit about that, you know, and that leaves them open to answer the questions. I'm trying to get them engaged. And when they give you your answer, I want you to really, really listen to them, because when you give them a chance to talk, boy, will you find out a lot of information from them. And that's what you want. You want to find out a lot of information. So when they give you your answer, you validate that answer. You validate. You want to make them feel important. Like I can say, oh yeah, I had really great results, or I feel so healthy and strong now, and I'm so glad you're interested in your health, because that's so important. You know, it's one of the most important things ever. So that's usually how my first conversations start. And then I want to ask them more questions. I want to engage them again, and I always come back with, why is your health so important to you? I heard Janelle Summers talked about this on one of her calls a long time ago. You got to dig deeper and find out why is their health so important. Some people just say, oh, I just want to work out. Well, okay, that's good, but why do you want to work out, you know? So I always ask them, why is your health so important to you? And they said, they could respond like, I just haven't felt good, or I take too much medicine, or I'm tired all the time, or I've gained so much weight. So you want to validate that answer. I always say, like, I understand, or that happened to me, or those are all such great reasons, or oh man, I can understand, I can relate to that so much. Just make them feel like that their answer is safe, and there's no dumb answers, or there's no dumb questions, okay? And then when I ask them about their health, I even try to get them to dig deeper. I heard Shalene Johnson talking about this too. If you get them to really think about why they want to be healthy, because some of us don't really even think about that. You know, you'll find out that some people don't. They just see that you've had results and they want to try it, but they don't even know really why. So I just try to get them to dig deeper, you know, why they contacted you in the first place. And I always ask them something like, well, what does being healthier look like to you? And you'll be surprised that some of them won't be able to answer that, but then you'll be surprised that some of them will know right away. And one thing I was telling Rena about that I wanted her to put on this was I said, well, what's being healthier look like to you? And one of the ladies said, I'm going to be a grandma. And she said, I see you play with your grandchildren all the time, and I see you get up and down off the floor all the time when you're playing cards with your grandkids, and I want to be that kind of grandma. And she said, I can't even get down on the floor and get back up. So that was her why. And you know what? And she's sticking to that. She keeps saying, I'm going to be a grandma, I'm going to be a grandma, and I'm going to be the best grandma I can be, you know? And then too, isn't that funny? It goes back to posting, because you know, we're supposed to share our lives, and I have the granddaughters a lot, and I love that, and I'm sitting on the floor playing cards with them. I just take pictures about that. I would have never in a million years dreamed that that would have connected with anyone. So I'm telling you that because you're sharing your life, and you just never know what people are looking for, or what they see, or what sparks their interest. So that's what I want to talk to you about engaging and validating with your first contact. And then Raina wanted me to talk a little bit about how I build relationships also within my challenge groups, because I guess she says a lot of you don't have a lot of luck a lot of the times with keeping everyone engaged in your challenge groups.
Myself included.
Yeah, sometimes it's harder, and I've been real blessed with that, and I don't know why. She says it's because a lot of the questions I ask them and try to get them engaged. So I'll just share with you a little bit what I do, and maybe you might find it helpful, and you can play around with it with different ways, you know, that you want to do. But oh wait, I'm jumping to, sorry, I want to do this. I jumped too fast. So anyway, I want to get them to programs. I want to lead them to the programs, so I've engaged them and I validate them, and then I'm going to lead them to the programs, because sometimes, and I was guilty of this right off, and Raina helped me with this so much, is I would just get right in there and I want to tell them all about the Beachbody program.
Oh, we're going to cover that soon.
Yeah, and I was, some of her examples of mine, I'm going to admit it, when I first started, but I'm like, Raina, I need help with this, you know, because it was so hard for me on private messaging, because I want to be excited for them, and I want to be helpful for them. And for me, typing, I couldn't get that enthusiasm in there. And Brett nailed it for me. He said, you want all that enthusiasm to come across, but you don't know how to do it in words. A smiley face just doesn't necessarily work for me. So I would just put more words down, you know, and that didn't work for me. So anyway, she's going to talk about that. Do. I want to eat whatever I want, but I just want to be more disciplined exercising. Or some people say, oh, I can exercise really good and I can eat pretty good, but so they want to listen to this, because then you can nail it where their heads are. So if they answer, If they answer with nutrition, I always validate. I said, that's great. Nutrition is 85% of the process. Or I'm glad you want more help with that because it is so important. Because I struggle with that too. Most people struggle with nutrition, and that was my big part. So I always tell them that I struggled with it too. That validates them. Or if they answer with, well, exercise. I would say, well, great. We all need to keep moving. It's so important to burn calories, burn muscle, and boost our metabolism. It always sounds kind of fake right here when I'm saying it, but when I'm saying it on the phone, it sounds a lot better. So it better than it does the typing. So anyway, and I always say that's great because we all need more help with exercise. I just validate. And then a lot of them will answer both. And I always say, well, that's really great because we all know that the true and best way to get healthy is we got to put nutrition and exercise together. So find a way after you've engaged them to validate them each time. Okay, that's very important. And then I just put a couple of paragraphs in here that you guys can use. I use a variance of these conversations, and like I said, depending on how the conversation went beforehand, I could type a lot of these or I say a lot of these. So I'm just going to kind of read this off, but understand it's going to be coming from your voice with your inferences on there. So I always say follow up with any of the responses with, I'm so glad you contacted me because Beachbody programs put nutrition and exercise together. That is so important to tell people because a lot of people don't know that. I was just talking to a man last night on the phone. I work out, but I need help with eating. Oh, your Beachbody helps me with eating? That's what I need help on. So people just don't know that they put them together. The Beachbody programs really equip you to get the job done, and I emphasize equip to people. They give you everything you need to get the job done. Each program provides you with nutrition and meal guides. Using Shakeology provides you with 30 meals. This nutrition shake replaces 1 meal a day to give you all the proper nutrition you have been missing out on to fuel your body and to rock these exercise programs. I don't just say it like that, okay? But
To rock these exercises.
yeah, I do say, rock it. And this is something else I say. I put this all down so in case you guys want to have that, and then you can use some of it. And some people will even say, well, yeah, you did it, but can I do it? And I always tell them, honey, if I can do it, anybody can do it, because you do not know how out of shape and how lazy I was. And then sometimes I tell them little personal stories about how hard it was for me when I first started working out and had to push pause all the time. But anyway, I always say these programs are designed to really meet you where you are by starting slowly and building up so you can always keep up. I always have a lot of questions. Maybe it's just the age limit that I have, but they always say, well, can I do this? Can I do this? I always want to emphasize that they meet you where you are. You can start wherever you want. Each workout video shows a participant using modified moves, so you can't quite do all the moves you like. Watch the video trainer. You can follow the modifier until you can. I always say the pause button on the DVD player lets you catch your breath if you need to. But Autumn, she doesn't like to press pause, so I'm not going to press pause now on her. So also, you will have me as your coach. Be sure and tell them this, to check in daily to help you use your programs with confidence. And I always say I use the word equip a lot. I want to equip you to use these programs with confidence. I give you tips, recipes, grocery lists, and encouragement. You follow these programs, they will work. And I always tell people this too. If you follow the programs, they will work. And I even said if you just fiddle with the programs, you're just going to get good results. It's just the way it happens. So, how am I doing on time? Okay, because I could talk to it. And I've heard someone say, and I forget who it was, maybe you guys heard, but they say facts tell and stories sell. I just heard that recently on the wake-up call, and I love that because that's so true. You can tell them all these facts that I just told you before, and they might just get a deer in the headlight look, really, So they want to know stories. Give me some stories. So I just wanted to tell this story about this in one of my most recent customers. Well, I've been with her for 10 weeks now. And she contacted me. She said, I'm going to be a hard one, Danelle. I don't know if I can do this. I can't do this without you. You don't know I'm lazy. I don't like to eat vegetables. I don't like to eat meat. I drink 7 pops a day. And I was like, Oh boy, okay, that one sounds a little tough, you know, so you don't eat vegetables. So anyway, I prayed about that one a lot and how to approach it and not make her feel bad, you know. But anyway, she drank 7 pops a day. She ate mostly fast food, and she had not exercised in a decade, okay? So the first thing I had to get her to do was commit to quit drinking pop. And I wanted to taper her off because I was afraid she'd have headaches. She quit cold turkey. 7 Pepsis a day. I would think that's really hard if some of you still drink pop. I don't know. But she did it. She hit cold turkey. She in 8 weeks, she lost, I'll write this down, 20 pounds in 8 weeks, 20 pounds, and 25 inches in 8 weeks, okay? Saw her at Walmart last night. She lives in my town, hadn't seen her since high school. We've just been doing this on Facebook messaging the whole time. Saw her in Walmart, ran into her last night. We stood there an hour, and we laughed, and we cried, and we hugged. And she's up to 30 pounds lost now, 30 pounds lost. And she's just like, Danelle, she said, you always made me feel like I wasn't going to ask a dumb question. You always, whenever I gave you an answer, you always say, oh, that's cool, that's cool. She said, you made me feel safe, you know. And I thought, oh, that's good. That's just what I wanted to be doing, you know. So I just wanted to get you all to engage them and to validate them every time, okay, because that makes them feel good. So anyway, I'll let you know. I think my girlfriend's going to be my poster child because on Beachbody we're going to have some. Yeah, I did. We're going to have some great before and afters. And she said, I may even show my before and after pictures. So anyway, so that's how I build relationships from the first moment of contact. And then I go into my challenge group. And like Raina said, she hears from a lot of people that they have a lot of problems with engaging people. Or seeing your guys' head shake yes. Do you have people have problems with people responding and stuff a little bit? Well, I always engage and validate, engage and validate. I'm going to tell you that over and over. And on the very first day, from the very first day, I just try to get them to engage in there and to feel comfortable and to feel safe. So I always ask them to introduce themselves, always. And then I validate each of them by thanking them for introducing themselves. And then I always tell them that I want your presence to be known in this challenge group because we're all here to help each other out. So I think that's a warm, fuzzy thing to say, you know, make them feel, you know. So I always thank them for choosing to put their health first and tell them I'm so proud of them and that you got to make this choice for yourself. I want them to know how happy I am that they chose this process. And then on day 2, I always ask them their why again. With an engaging question, I ask them their why again. And I ask them to post it, and they always do, okay? And then I validate each one of their answers by tagging their name individually, telling them why their why is so awesome. You know, I say something like, I'm so glad you're doing this for yourself, or I'm so glad you're going to be a grandma now, and now you're going to be the healthiest grandma you can possibly be. So that makes them feel important, and it also makes them feel like their answers are not dumb, okay? Because I didn't realize I had a lot of people tell me personally they're afraid to answer questions because they're afraid they'll be asking a dumb question. So, and I guess I never thought about I'd be asking a dumb question, right, Raina?
Never.
So, yeah. So, and on day 3, I ask them another question to get them engaged. And I do this because I just wanted to be comfortable in the process of it. You know, something I wanted to be comfortable with answering the questions. So I ask them an easy question. What do you eat for breakfast? You know, eating breakfast is important. So I want people to know I'm going to pay attention to that. But that's usually an easy question, okay? And I can relate to that, or I used to eat that, or, well, you need some help on that, or we need to find you some better breakfast, okay? So now they're even a little bit more comfortable. And then on day 4, this is a big one, but I feel like they're pretty comfortable, so I engage with the question, what's your biggest issue you have that you've used not to work out? Sometimes it takes people all day to answer that one. You can see where they've looked at it in the morning, and it takes them all day to answer it, but I validate every single one again. Like, I understand that, or I felt the same way, or I always did that too, or some of them you could tell they're always not true transparent, but you just want to get them there. So all this engaging and validating, it's leading to transparency. And I always feel like that your objective is to guide them gently into being transparent. When they're transparent, they reveal more about themselves and you can help them more. They feel more comfortable with being a little bit more transparent, and they'll be asking you more questions. And then there's somebody else in the challenge group that probably wants to ask the same question. They just didn't, but that person did because they felt comfortable. So I believe that when you validate them in the midst of their transparency, they feel safe with you, they feel trust with you, and most of all, they feel important. You make them feel important. It's one of your biggest jobs. And you want them to feel worthy of this journey. And when they feel worthy of the journey, they will fight harder for themselves. Man, I've seen that so much when they're like, yes, I can do this, or I've put my family first all this time. I put my kids first. I've always put me last. I'm going to do this now. When you make them feel worthy, they will fight harder for themselves every time. And when I see them starting to fight harder and harder, it all automatically shifts that burden back to them and off of you. Because they're going to be one that's going to be doing all the work, and they're going to try harder and they're try harder. So I just put down here at the bottom that I want every single one of you to remember this, because I think it's one of the most important things. Remember, every single human being on the face of this earth wants to be validated. Everybody does. Everybody wants to feel important, and everybody wants to feel like they matter. I don't care who it is, what country, where it is. They want to feel like they matter. And our job as a coach is to make sure they feel like they're mattered and they're cared for. If you can relay that to them, I really believe you'll be way more successful. I said you have to make them feel comfortable, safe, loved, cared for. You have to build that trust and confidence. You have to make them feel like they matter. You have to make them feel like their goals are important to you. You're going to do whatever you can to help them reach those goals. And you're going to have to make them feel that they deserve to do this for themselves. My motto that I have in this business, it was something that God revealed to me, and it's been really important to me. And I don't know if you guys have that for yourself, but my goal or my motto in all of this is to help people find their strength that they've had in them all along. Every single person has this strength in them that's there. They've just buried it. They're not listening to it. They pushed it aside. And I believe that one of our jobs is to help them find that strength and fight for themselves. And I think that's so, so important. And then I just wanted to tell you all that. Remember that this is their journey. It's their journey, not your journey with them necessarily, but their journey. And I want each of you to feel honored and excited that they chose you to help them on this. Saw what your life was, they saw what you were posting, and they reached out to you. So make them feel loved and important and safe. And then you be excited and honored that they chose you. Okay? I'm done. So I hope I didn't talk too long.
No, you didn't. And I hear Danelle talk about her challenge groups all the time, and I'm like mine are not like that at all. And I know a lot of yours aren't because I hear about it. And so, and it's just that engage and validate. It really is. And that's something that I had never done. I was more like, okay, get that challenge pack, put them in a group, and then next, and that's how I think a lot of us do it. And so taking time to slow down and really spend time with people and help them get results, because you've heard it before, our success is only, as big as the number of lives we change. And so if we're packing up challenge groups and not spending quality time with these people, we're not going to get very far.
Yeah. They don't feel like that they matter to you. They're not going to feel worthy.
They feel like a number.
Yeah.
They do.
But they're not going to stay your customer.
Exactly.
They will not.
And then they'll fall off. And what's the point of what we're doing if we're not helping them continue on? And then they're going to share their journey with somebody else.
Absolutely.
So it's going to come back to you, or they're going to find it.
Fantastic. And it's funny because Raina has told me that my retention rate is really, really good for 7 months. I've got most of my 90% of my coaches are still on Shakeology 7 months later, and she says that's a really good retention rate.
And mine are like a month.
Yeah.
Well, and I've got well, there you go.
Yeah.
I've got people that are in my challenge groups. They're in their 3rd and 4th challenge group now, because I'm always engaging every day. And then if I see someone in my challenge group that's being quiet, I'll private message them even too. So, but you got to get them engaged and validate everything. So
Does that help?
Very much.
yeah, well, good, you guys. I'm glad.
Some questions about anything for Dina?
So one question would be, you know, just the balance of building the relationships, but then also trying to hit Success Club and you know, just that, because I find myself trying to focus on the building relationships. And so when they come with the objections, I'll try to, you know, take on the objection, but I also don't want to be pushy.
Sure, I
And
know.
so that's where I kind of struggle every month is, you know, I have people coming back to me and things like that, but trying not to be too pushy in order to establish that relationship.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm not sure what your question is, but what's your question?
Just how to balance that of building the relationship and being able to be successful and hitting those milestones of Success Club and challenge packs.
Well, you know what I feel like? I feel like that if you do build the relationship, it will come.
It'll come back. It'll come around.
It'll come back. I may not get them on the first time, but they'll come back later. And that's why it's so important for you to post and let them feel like they're engaging in your life. I've had ladies that have not liked one picture or not made one comment, and they'll come back to me and they'll say, I see everything you post on your food, and I go out and buy your food, and I make that meal, and I'm thinking, well, this is easy. If she can do it, I can do it. And they'll call me and say, okay, what's this all about? And then I try to just get them engaged more and see if they're interested in the nutrition or the health part of it. But if you get them to answer your questions, they'll slowly take more ownership, and they'll become more transparent, and then they'll feel safer. The more transparent they come, the safer they'll feel.
And I think that's, I mean, I know that's why we post about consistency so much.
Yes.
Because if you were, you know, posting every day and continuing to talk to these people, whether, like a lot of coaches say, you know, I want to get the conversation closed and get that challenge pack or whatever, but like majority of my conversations last
I'm going to add on to that, sitting down to hit Success Club. Close those comments, look through scrolling my newsfeed. That's when I go back to my challenge groups and I validate, I comment back on the post of the day and say, Rachel, that's a great thought or whatever. So when you're checking Facebook throughout the day, if you go to make a post, spend a couple minutes, get back in your challenge group and comment back and validate. But then when you sit down to do your power hour, that's really where you're trying to build relationships and close.
Okay.
Absolutely, make it feel important. Good question?
You touched on that customer base on like phone calls, benefit percentage, what would you say is phone, text, and Facebook?
For me,
Yeah.
mine is probably 80% phone. And everyone, Raina and I, we talked about this a lot, and it's
I'm like,
It's
I don't
my
want to
gen-
talk on the phone.
it's my demographic, I really think. I mean, I have young coaches too, and I have young challengers, but 80% are my age. I'm 52, and so I have from 40 to 78, my demographic, and they're technologically challenged, and they're not into all that, which Raina can attest to that. I wasn't either, and I had to learn a lot of this. And they just don't want to do that. They want the personal touch. It's the good old boy personal touch. And I love it a lot better talking on the phone. I
Well,
love
you're
it.
talking to a good friend too. I mean, you're going to want to have a conversation on it.
Yeah.
I just
Absolutely.
reconnected with a girl that I went to college with, and we lived in the same town, and went to church together, and so we're going to talk on the phone. If it's somebody, like an old college person from 20 years ago, that's probably skills.
Yeah, and that's okay.
You can kind of feel that, like what kind of relationship you have.
Yeah, and I've even done complete messages on texting before. With this lady's a truck driver, and so she just, we just have to hit when she's within signal and stuff. So I don't like it as much like that, but because I feel like I can't give them my personality and they can't hear my excitement and stuff. But I want you guys to take away that this is going to be one of the most important things you'll do in business. I think, don't you, Rana?
Absolutely.
Don't you guys? Yeah.
I think it's what sets what we do apart from any other.
Absolutely.
I think
Ever
so
been
too,
a part
Gretchen.
of.
I think so too.
Because it's about relationships with people, and that's what keeps people coming back to you and keeps helping to build the business. is because of the relationships.
Yeah, and here's this lady that I went to high school with. She lives in my town. I have not once in 34 years, not one time. She's in my group. We've just been doing it on Facebook, and I run into her at Walmart. That's divine. Yeah, that's totally divine. And we stood there and talked for an hour and cried because she said, look at my pants, look at my waist. And she tells me she couldn't have done it without me, and I made her feel safe. Those were her words. I made her feel safe, and I made her feel like she had no dumb questions. So I'm like, that's good.
Do you carry cards? Because like yesterday I bought the first pair of jeans I've bought in 3 years. And the ladies at the fitting counter thought it was weird. I was walking in with a pile of like 6 different sizes. Because I was trying to figure out what size I wear. And I told them what I'd been doing. And I thought, I'm such an idiot. I didn't have any cards.
I don't,
So,
but I will. I just haven't took the time. I was waiting for her
And I do.
rebranding to come
Yeah.
out. I wanted to wait until the Luxe Republic came out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and it's a good,
Yeah.
for that reason alone, like for
Absolutely.
chit chat with like the guy at the car dealership the other day who was like, I actually just finished like in 40 days into insanity. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a beach buddy coach. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it comes up everywhere.
I'm talking with 3 people right now that I met at the grocery store just because I was reading labels.
Brett had that happen the other day too.
Yeah.
Brett was at the grocery store and he said a woman came up and she goes, excuse me, are you reading the label? And he goes, yeah, and she goes, I can tell. I was like,
I cried.
he cried. I thought
And
that was
that's
funny.
important. And then the checkout guy at the grocery store, he's like, are you going to do weightlifting? And I'm like, why do you ask? He goes, look at all this protein you've got in. I'm like, well, as a matter of fact, I am doing some weightlifting, some body beast at that time, you know, so you never know.
Anybody else have questions for the no?
Good.
No? Okay. Rachel. Yep. Rachel Grass is next, and she's going to talk about posting. Yeah, I mean, take over.
baby.
Do it.
Rachel, you're so good at posting. You're so good.
That's why I chose the topic. Friends like, what are you good at? I'm like,
It's so neat how we each have our own streets, and, you know, and you just can learn from each other.
so I have a PowerPoint, and unfortunately, I don't have any way to present it. So, oh my goodness.
can you post your PowerPoint on the event page?
That's
Oh.
Yay! Yay! Stick to the red.
Two more are coming that are running late.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. Just want to start with an introduction of myself. My name's Rachel Grass. I'm currently one-star diamond coach. Raina is my upline. I've actually been coaching for less than 1 year. I signed February 15th, 2014. It's crazy to think that it's not even been a year yet, but it's been fun. I guess I started as a challenger. I think I reached out to Raina in like November, and I was asking about Shakeology. Through college, I had put on some weight and just wasn't feeling myself, and I wanted to get fit, but I didn't want to work out. It sounds like a magic shake. Maybe it could be the answer. So I initially had reached out to Shakeology, and then she was like, well, I've been about doing a challenge group or workout, and I'm like, well, it depends on how much it costs. I mean, I was one of those challengers that asked my questions, was worried about the cost and everything. And then she's like, well, it's not really that much more. Because the P90 Extra was on sale at the time. So I was like, okay, let's just go for it. Had awesome results in those first 30 days. And Raina, of course, reached out like we always should to our challengers and said, have you thought about doing what I do? And I was like, actually, I have. So I feel like it was pretty easy to sign me.
She was an easy one.
Yeah, I was like, during my challenge group, I was already posting about my Shakeology and my workouts. else. Like I was doing everything a coach did. I had people coming to me asking, what program are you doing? What are you doing? And so I was like, okay, it just makes sense. So I signed as a coach February 15th. I think I hit Emerald within 45 days and Diamond within 75 days, maybe. And then it was pretty quick. And then I'm currently 1 star, soon to be 2-star, hopefully for the bonus cutoff.
Yeah.
Qualification.
February 18th.
Yes,
Brett's got it down.
I got it. Getting that bonus. So today I want to talk about posting. I feel like it's such a necessity that people overlook it. They think it's so easy. They don't put a lot of thought behind it, or they don't do it at all because they're like, I don't need to do that. So I want to talk about the importance of posting, what to do, what not to do, and then kind of pose a different way to think about it for you guys. So, like I said, we know that posting is important, but I want you guys to think about, are you doing it right? So what not to do? I want you guys to tell me what not to do, because I know we all know it, but sometimes we forget and do it anyway. So what are we not supposed to post as we try to purchase? Saley stuff, yes.
The same stuff that's already put up on the picture.
Yes, so don't use free corporate pictures. What else?
Ego status.
No negativity.
Yes.
Yes.
FNO.
No negativity.
That is the worst. I'm like, oh.
Anything else?
Curse words.
There we go.
And obvious.
Tacky.
Yeah. What about websites?
Oh yeah.
Buy from me. Here's my website. So no links. I have to show you this because it was really funny that I was trying to type
We
it.
had a really good PowerPoint.
Why do you not buy from me? Don't be like that. We know that, right? We're told that from day one, but a lot of times we forget. So don't do that. That's it. So what are some of the things that we should be posting about daily? Sorry, Kim. Journey. So look at this. What do you guys post on a daily basis?
I love it.
Right. Yeah.
Workout pictures.
Selfies. Psychology.
Just saying.
Workouts.
I'll tag you.
Right? So this is that you're supposed to be.
So, that's what I always tell her, tag me,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No, she doesn't say just tag. It's tag me.
And the coaching opportunity too, right?
Yeah.
If people don't know that there's an opportunity to coach like you are, then they may never sign up. So some of those are the things that we post about every single day. But what can you do different? I mean, if you have Shakeology every morning, and every morning you post a selfie, healthier shake of the day, healthier shake of the day, like people are gonna just be like, oh my God, stop. Stop with your Shakeology post, I get it. So I want you guys to think about what you're posting on a daily basis a little bit differently. And this is where this comes in. And I have this pretty little thing that you guys can print off and keep at your workstation. I'll post it on Rain's team page. It's just a way to think about what you're posting differently. So these are the 5 things, and I want to run through them all with you. So the first one is engaging. This is something that I think most people on the team do pretty well, but it is overlooked a little bit. So engaging posts can be fitness related or not, and sometimes it's even better if they're not fitness related. The point of this is just to get people talking, to get people commenting and responding on your page, because the more comments you get, the more likely that post is going to show up on someone else's newsfeed. The more comments you get, the more people you're touching that day. So it can be, engaging posts can be about food or fashion or hairstyles or even more serious things like budgets or houses or jobs. It really can be anything. What you need to do is ask a question and then get comments. See how many comments you can get. And then the most important part is that engaging part. So back to Danelle, comment back to people, tag them and say, well, that's a really cool thought, I never thought about that, or I can totally relate, or whatever. But you want to make sure that you're engaging with people, commenting back. and really get those conversations going on your post.
You know what, Rachel, you saying that, I've even had people, if I comment back to them in that same situation, they'll start commenting more on my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just feeling safe,
Yeah.
you know, because you validated them there, they feel safe.
They feel safe. And it kind of comes back to Facebook, how Facebook works too.
Yes.
If someone comments on one of your posts and you comment back and tag them, Facebook thinks that there's a relationship and you're going to show up in the newsfeed more. So maybe your post about what kind of house should I buy, and they commented on it, well, the next day, maybe your coaching opportunity post is going to show up in their feed. So really, engaging is more about, it's not more about, but even more like how Facebook works and how people show up in these feeds. Funny is the next one. This one, I feel like it's kind of obvious. People come to Facebook to be entertained, so you need to entertain them. Every post doesn't need to be about your workout. There's something funny in there. It can be, all of these can be fitness related or not.
I posted myself in my hair color yesterday.
That was funny.
A lot of people realize
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you can find what are they called? Memes. Memes
Yeah.
are funny. Just everything. People want to be entertained, so that was pretty simple. But I mean, think about your Shakeology post. You can do a Shakeology post that's engaging. You know, you guys say something like, you know what I have for breakfast every day. What did you have for breakfast? Something like that. It doesn't have to just be a selfie of you in Shakeology. It can fall into any of these categories. So motivation and inspiration is the third one. This is where your workout pics, your before and afters, business opportunity posts, inspirational quotes, all of this kind of falls into this category. The point of this one is to show off it's overlooked the most out of all of them, but you should think about posts that people can implement in their lives. So this could be a recipe, a life hack. I know Lisa Maker uses a lot in her posts. Tips and tricks about being healthy or working out, anything like that. So something that they can incorporate into their life. I don't know why, but people love food. So if you post recipes, people are going to share them. They're going to comment on them. They're going to ask you, well, have you actually made that? How did it turn out? Stuff like that. And then the last one, maybe the most important, about your life. You got to share your story. Show pictures of your kids, your family, your dogs, whatever you have sitting around the house. The work that you do, just day-to-day selfies. You want to let your personality shine. You want to seem approachable to people. You want to validate them. You want to seem approachable so people can come talk to you and they feel comfortable talking to you and posting on your stuff. And I've heard this before, I don't know where, but people want to follow you and not the products that you're selling. So make sure to share your life and your journey. So like I said, this is just a different way to think about the things that you're posting every day. Your workout selfie doesn't always have to be motivational and inspirational. Sometimes it can be funny. Sometimes it can be engaging. What did you work out today? Sometimes you can add some value in there. Say, this is my tip for the day, and something about friendship. I don't know, just think about it in a different light. That's what this is. So moving on a little bit, another good point about posting is keeping your wall clean. So I think this is pretty obvious too, but no Facebook games. Nobody wants to see.
We don't want to play.
Yeah, nobody wants to play Facebook games, and nobody wants to see that you're playing Facebook games. No online surveys. I know this always pop up. Like, what Disney princess are you? You can take the survey if you want to, because I do sometimes. But don't post it to your Facebook wall, because it's not going to do anything for your business, and people are like, oh, it's just annoying. And then,
Are you Sleeping Beauty?
yes. No shared posts. So I said this on the team page the other day. When you share, even if it's from Shailene Johnson, that's awesome. If she's got a cool picture and a quote that you want to share on your own page, copy it. So save the picture, copy and paste the words. You can even say, oh, from Shailene Johnson. But when you actually share it on Facebook, it doesn't show up right in the newsfeed. It says, Rachel Grass shared this post, and then it's kind of like blurred out and hard to read, and they have to click see all, and it just doesn't show up right. So you can share all you want, but don't actually physically share it on Facebook, copy and paste the content. Does that make sense?
Don't use the share button.
Yes, don't use the share button.
And on that, the shared links and things and pictures that you're sharing don't get the reach that a raw post would.
Right.
So that's why it's important
Right.
to post it on your own versus sharing. And, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Say Rachel shares one of my pictures, and then one of her friends that aren't signed up yet clicks on the picture, and then it's on my profile, and then they're clicking on my name, and then they're going to my pictures, and then they see my link,
Right.
and my website, and now they're my customer, you know? So keep it your name all on your profile.
Like page, if we share like big shop.
Yeah,
That's the reach.
So they're both original. Don't share one to the other.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how it would work,
Yeah.
so I was like, yeah.
It's a little bit extra work, but it's worth it.
Yeah,
I just wasn't sure.
It's really worth it. And then you guys covered this earlier, no negativity. Who wants to see that, especially when they're trying to be motivational and inspirational. So kind of back to the point of all of this, the importance of posting. You really don't, it's an opportunity to market yourself as a coach. That's why we're here. We want people to know that we can help them. So you've got to market yourself as a coach. And in that, you're going to show people your lifestyle. You're going to have the opportunity to quickly interact with people. You can start Facebook conversations all day, but they take a lot of time. You've got to start that contact in something simpler like a post. If somebody comments on your post and says, you know, what's your favorite recipe for broccoli? If I post something about broccoli, well, that is a simple question and a simple answer, but I can take that to a conversation and really build it more. So it's an opportunity to quickly interact with people and start conversations. So those go hand in hand. And then it's a way to show people that you're friendly and approachable. If I was just, if I wasn't posting on people, first of all, people aren't going to know that I'm a Beachbody coach, and they're not going to know that I can help them, but they're also not going to know that I want them to contact me. So you need to show people that you're friendly and approachable, and you can do that through not only posting, but then validating on your posts. I'm coming back to that. And then posting reminds people that you can help them. That's where this comes in, motivation and inspiration. And then always remember consistency is key. I mean, even my own coaches, I feel like I say this all the time, but they don't post consistently. They're like, oh, I'm going to work my business this week, and then they post 5 times a day, and then they just fall off the face of the earth the next week, and you can't do that. Your business is never going to get any momentum if you keep coming back to it and filing off. So I don't care if you don't answer a single Facebook message that day because you wanted to take the day off, you've still got to post. Even if you didn't do your workout that day, post about something. Show up on people's newsfeeds.
No, I'll tell you about that. My hairdresser sent an app, and you have it that you can schedule your posts. It's free. And then Hootsuite, you can schedule all of like Instagram and Facebook. So that's not.
Yeah,
So I work.
Yeah, I do work a full-time job, and I'm pretty fortunate that I have a desk job and I can be on Facebook all day long, and I am. So I don't have to worry about that, but I mean, for teachers and stuff that may only have access to their phone once or twice a day, Hootsuite is a really good option. I know even when I go on vacations, I use Hootsuite. to schedule my posts. I'll do like 2 or 3 every day. And like I said, I'm on the computer all the time, so I have all these different pictures saved and stuff. So I just like upload the file and type something short and sweet. They're not as engaging as they would be if I was actually there to post in person, but it's still very important to always have those posts going.
Yeah, and that is the only thing about like Hootsuite that Facebook hates those third-party websites. So even if you're sharing something from YouTube, it's not going to get the reach it would if you were to upload it raw straight to Facebook.
Right.
So that does affect the amount of people that will see it.
going through Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I gotta stop.
So I'm like, I post to Instagram, I copy paste, post to my personal, copy paste, post to my like page.
I think another too, like Rachel
Yeah.
said, you're working all day, you'll copy and paste, you'll save pictures and stuff. If you know you're gonna be busy, you gotta get your post in.
Yeah.
So that night before, that morning, you have some free time, create a post and save it. And then schedule that post, go do it yourself later that day.
Yeah.
If you miss, like Rachel said, if you miss a day or a half a day, that break in consistency says a lot to people that follow you. You don't know. And I post that, I preach about it all the time, but it's a big deal.
Yeah, and one thing that I used to do, and I need to start doing again, is like 10 or 15 minutes before I went to bed, I would have my phone and I would just flip through Pinterest, find those inspirational things, find a picture of food or whatever, screenshot it. So when you're busy the next day and you're like, shoot, I need to post something real quick, you've got a picture right there. You just
My entire camera roll is sample posts. Like, ready to go at a moment's
so
notice.
you've got the picture already, you just gotta throw something inspirational in there, it'll take you 10 seconds, it's ready to go. So always have those sample posts on your phone, on your computer, ready to go when you need to post really quickly. And same with top coaches. I follow so many top coaches, and I'll steal stuff from them. I mean,
Screenshot it and save it.
share, I mean, steal, but share stuff from them. And I always kind of switch up the wording a little bit so it sounds like it's coming from me. But steal their picture, like the physical pictures and the ideas of their posts too. Like you don't always have to be completely original, and just it's not about sharing. So.
And I've told people from the beginning, we are a very copy-paste friendly community. Very. So if I post something that you love, or if you post something that I love, I'm gonna steal it too. You know, and I do that all the time. I mean,
I do it all the time. I
screenshot all of your guys. Yeah. And so it's fine as long as, and this is one thing too, as long as you're not taking it and then 5 minutes later posting the exact same thing. You have issues where there'll be 20 coaches posting the same exact post word for word. And I'm like, people. And so spread it out, you know.
Well, and something you might want to be aware of is with Facebook making all of the changes, they like original content. So the more identical your post is to somebody else's, it's going to be like Google eventually, and they're going to use their analytics. And so you want to get used to being a little bit more original now before it kicks into play. And so,
I think I've seen that somewhere. It's like the following people posted this picture, and like they knew that 3 people posted the same picture. I'm like,
not posting.
So think about that too. But save those posts and use them for a week later. I know on my OneNote I've got, the tab literally says stolen posts, and I would copy and paste them in there, and then when I'm brain dead a week later and I have nothing, I'm like, oh, it's my stolen post page, and see what seems relevant for the day. So, posting, you have to be consistent, and it's all about planning ahead. You're not always going to be like, you're not always going to have 2 minutes to take a selfie or to picture the book or whatever. So,
can I ask a quick question? To all of you, how many of you are afraid to post a lot, afraid you'll be annoying?
Get over it.
I was too at first. I just wondered if you guys had shared that.
Like, as a new coach, you got to realize, as a new coach, before I started coaching, I didn't post a lot.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Interact with Facebook, so I feel like I have to get into it.
I forget.
No, you are like over the top.
Yeah.
So, and I'm with you. I do a lot of, I come from a very small town. I do a lot of face-to-face interaction. I do a lot of the phone calls. That for me works 100 times
that have been with Facebook so far. But as I build the business, I'm gonna go through those people on my little tiny account and have to open
Yeah.
up, like, oh yeah, I'm slowly getting into it.
I built my business from all the posts on Facebook, even though it wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
I've had people say, my gosh, you're a Facebook whore. You know, I'm like, well, you know what, every time I post someone, I could potentially make, $150 down the road. Wouldn't you do that too? And he's like, oh.
Yeah. That's what I have to tell my.
By the way, do you want to sign up?
But Danielle, like you said, for new coaches who may not be super into Facebook, that's where a lot of these other types of posts are going to come in. You don't want 3 workout selfies and 3 clean posts every single day. You can post about your dog or what your chickens or whatever you got.
Crazy every day.
Those
Yeah.
are things that are
Your sheep.
comfortable for you.
Yeah.
Things that you can relate to that you don't have to manufacture that
Sure.
genuine,
Yeah.
feeling for it.
Yeah.
It's just your journey.
You
Yourself,
definitely
but
have the funny cover.
yeah.
Why don't you guys?
That takes away the worry that you're going to be annoying people.
It does.
Right.
I say, because I get this a lot when we do getting started right calls. Like, I don't want to annoy anybody or come off salesy. I'm like, the only time you're going to come off salesy is if you're posting Beachbody's corporate 21-day fixes on sale. Those kinds of posts, because they are salesy. But if you're posting your workout pictures and your food and your kids and your day-to-day life, you're not going to come off salesy at all.
This is one thing I've seen that I do that has actually kind of worked for me is I have a theme every day. So like Monday, it's Motivational Monday. Wednesday's Tasty Tuesday, so I always post a recipe. Wednesday's Workout Wednesday, so there's a tip. Thursday's Deep Thought Thursday, so I ask a question that maybe. And then Friday's like Fun Tip Friday, like just random tips. And so I do that every week, and I've started seeing people getting traction with that because I do it every week.
Cool, looking forward to it.
Yeah, so one of my posts that's doing really well that I didn't even think it would, I had that create. So I was at Price Chopper and I walked through the cookie aisle and just selfie behind it, and then I wrote the Temptations real and to cookie or not to cookie. And it's been 3 days now and I'm constantly still getting messages from it.
And that's
People want you to be real.
They want to see that you struggle. They want to see you with a handful of popcorn in your mouth. Like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like, they want to see that.
Yeah, I admitted I ate 2 packages of keto all by myself.
The good and the bad.
Well, they
Yeah,
were
it all.
99
It's
cents
out your life.
Then that's
Your
excuse.
They were-
Like, if it was on sale, it doesn't count.
they're really good.
I bought 2 boxes of Girl Scouts.
Right. Oh, I do have a funny story. When we were in Puerto Rico, we got a knock on the door and it was a Girl Scout. And we bought like 10 boxes of cookies.
That's why you guys going a mile away.
I know. There were like 10 white girls in a big rental car. It was so funny. It was really funny. And we ate them. But yeah.
Yeah, the good and the bad.
Popcorn from Costco. I get really bold like this.
I ate some last night.
I'm having trouble with like just regular life posts because my kids are at college.
Yeah.
I do Beachbody and write children's books, but there's really not a lot to talk about with like the children's books right now. And my husband works nights, so it's just me and the cat in this house all by myself.
Yeah.
And I don't
Make him famous.
really know anybody in the town, so I'm like, I feel like the crazy cat lady.
I love all of Coach Caleb.
Yeah.
I know, I love the neighbor kids, but I don't want to piss them off with posting pictures of their kids and tagging them in them. Because even when
You
I had
might steer away from that, yeah.
Well, even when I had permission, they got mad. So I'm like, no. I forgot Kansas mindset's not the same as military mindset. And I've been in the Navy for a long time, so it's kind of hard to adapt to the different
See, and that's the
mindset.
market you have to work with.
Yeah.
Military.
Believe me, all over the world, they're following me.
Yeah.
So.
That's
It's just
Posting a
engaging.
lot.
Post and whatever, just
Especially like the new thing where all military people can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get that switch because my husband's retired and I'm
I
everyone pick it up with phones.
I want you
Selfie
to
time.
take a photo
Yeah.
of yourself or your training
Or the
material
background.
or whatever you want and do post.
I took a picture of you, by the way.
That's
I'm gonna
okay.
tag you in it.
Selfie time. I want to take a picture of you guys doing selfies. I'll photobomb you guys.
I like to photobomb.
I always like get that crown of your head like
Now tag me.
Okay, you can take the artist selfie, go actually post. Guys, you're allowed 2 minutes to post and determine which one of this is it. Are you engaging? Are you gonna be funny? I think mine was funny. Are you sharing your life? This is your life today.
Anybody have questions about posting or anything?
You know, I just had one question. I think we had a conversation before about how Hootsuite, if you're posting your schedule through Hootsuite, how Facebook kind of minimizes your exposure. So and I have not been doing this, but I'm gonna start doing my challenge group posts using Hootsuite, probably just solely and not, and I haven't been using it since you told me that.
Yeah, and you can do that. For me, I just like to tag everybody.
And you can't do that.
And you can't do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people aren't going to that group every day and so getting that notification is what they depend on.
Okay.
I literally wake up, ask Brett, and I'm like, copy and paste, like post to my challenge group, and then I'm like done for the morning.
And I love how if you do it from your phone, it automatically pulls up your people that are in that group.
Yeah.
Like,
You
it's
just-
just-
See, and
So I stopped
that,
doing it
so
for my
for like my personally sponsored group, and Luxe Republic, I don't do Luxe Republic anymore because it's long. Like my personally sponsored group,
Yeah.
that's the only reason I'll post from my phone is so I can tag all certain people. Because you can't do it from your computer.
That was so annoying.
So I know.
I
So important things, I'm like,
we-
tag everybody.
Yeah.
From my phone. Did you? You just found out this week? Okay, we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna stay right here, but I will like stand up-ish. I am going to talk about conversations a little bit more because we went to an event. We did like a vendor event, and Christy and I were talking, and she was explaining how that was her biggest struggle. Like, you know, I just don't have the conversations that you do, and so I gave her my phone, and I said, literally read through my phone, like read through my messages, and she did, and she was like, Raina, that's not at all like my conversation. Like, and that's what people need to know, and that's why we did this training, because we feel like that's where most people struggle, are in those conversations. You could be doing all the right things. You can be posting 6 times a day, and you know, inviting X amount of people, and
Okay, but I wasn't doing that right either.
right. Well, she failed all the way around, but no. But you know, those conversations can make or break your success in this business. It really can. And so now that we have good examples of conversations, I'm going to kind of go through some bad ones. And I literally had people in the Luxe Republic send me conversations, and I won't say names, just to make them feel a little bit better about it. But again, conversation is the most important. Why is the initial conversation the most important? Because you're setting the tone for your business, really, and you're needing to build that trust and build that relationship so that they feel like what you're offering them is really going to help them. You know, you can't. I'll get a message saying, okay, what's this group you're doing? What's this 21-day group? If I were to respond saying, you know, it's a 21-day group, you get a workout program, you get Shakeology, you get a meal plan, you get portion control containers. Here's my link. Let me know when you get set up. They'd run away. And it took me a long time to realize this also, and that's in the beginning, that's kind of what I did. And so Brett, luckily my husband's able to help because he's spent years in sales and years building relationships and on the phone and, you know, with companies and everything. So I had kind of that in to not rush it. You have to actually work that conversation. And I was like, oh, you know, what? But it took a lot of trial and error. It took those missed sales and those jacked up conversations for for me to actually figure out the exact way that it needed to be done. And I feel like now you could throw me anybody and I could get them in. That's crazy. Just even say out loud, I feel like. But the relationships are the key. If anything is a direct reflection of the success of your business. Creates retention. Again, that was the perfect example of this. Not only does she, sign up clients, but she turns them into discount coaches. Okay, so she's got over 50 discount coaches, but they're all getting Shakeology every single month, just because she has mastered that conversation and that relationship. So
And
there's something to be said for it. Yeah.
I mean, I just
And so
don't
if you have
trust this side.
actually
I try to just really
changed, yeah. Yeah. So, and helping others helps you. When you have those successful people that are seeing amazing results and hopefully allowing you to share some before and afters, that's going to help your business. And, having them refer you to their friends and family and say, I've been in Raina's group and I've lost 25 pounds so far. You should try it out, or message her. And I get that a lot. I'll have people saying, so-and-so sent me, and then I go to that person though, and I'm like, you should be coaching, direct and right there. So I have some conversations, and they're on my computer because I didn't have time to print them up. And I'm going to go through some what not to do, okay? I might actually read it and then have you guys tell me what went wrong because they're kind of crazy, some of them. Big face right in the middle of it. Okay. Let's do, it's going to take a second to open it, I'm sorry. Should have printed it off. We're going to talk about somebody that inquired about coaching. Come on. I know, I'm like, they're all Danelles. No. It's because I've got the live thing going and it's taking forever. I have a couple on the phone first. Okay.
Oh, he's located. Yeah, there's an extra A in there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Any questions? Yeah. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Really good.
Okay, so I just did a like page not too long ago, and I free boosts. So
Yes.
I took advantage of that, and I got 70 new people that I have no idea or thoughts on how to start that conversation with those people specifically.
This is one thing that stinks about that is you can't private message them from your like page. So, and I know other coaches have ways to do this. Don't blindly message. To post is I allow them to see me in the news feed, and if they comment, say, hey, shoot me a friend request and we can chat. A lot of people, because I know that if you go to your like page from your personal page, you can find them, can't you? And have them this way.
Okay.
But I don't do that. I want people that are natural. That's
So like people that are my friends will also like them.
yes. And so, okay, that's page, and so I had the exact more success and sold my like page. Now I've restarted just because I need the extra space, and I've changed my approach with it a little bit. I'm not, I don't share it. That's